My name is Vadi, and welcome to Dark Souls 2. So I'm not the kind of person, or not the kind of channel, to do things in half measures. My videos require a lot of editing, and Let's Plays rarely require much, so in this series I'm going to make it different. I'm going to keep it fast-paced, maybe even introducing a new theme to every episode, you know? The theme of this episode is how to get the best possible start. So I ask you guys, my subscribers, to join me in adventuring through Drangleic. There's a lot to see, and we're going to be discovering this entire game one video at a time in 2014. Things Betwixt. So a huge part of this game is curing the curse of undeath. Our character travels to this old, decrepit castle, but upon arriving he realizes that it has another side to it, and further on in the cinematic he actually gets drawn into this vortex, and I say drawn because he's not just drawn by some need to cure the curse. He seems like he's literally forced into this hole. His pupil explodes in darkness and his hand starts writhing, and this just indicates to me that he's being drawn in there. Anyway, as you progress through, you come across these dogs, and, you know, this is the reason the start of Dark Souls 2 really appeals to me, and it's probably my masochistic side saying this, but if you wait in this section too long, these dogs start to surround you, and if you provoke them like I've done, then they'll chase you down and make you become a bit more wary of the fact that you're wearing rags and that you have, like, no health. They chase you towards this warm light, and that's where we're gonna go next. I actually spy this item off near this tree. This is something you should pick up because we'll find its use later in the tutorial. In regards to this cinematic, you can skip it if you like, but I have overlaid a lot of gameplay, so it's more interesting.
What seems to be the ruckus?
Oh my, your face. The face of the curse. It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you?
You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them.
Hollows prey upon men, feast upon their souls. This is the fate of the cursed.
So, we're not the only ones who were drawn here. Let's find out a bit more about where we are.
This is a limbo. A link between Drangleic and the outer world. Fair traveller, I know that you must have a story. Why else would you visit such a place? This lost, decayed kingdom. My name is Millibeth. The old women were once fire keepers. I am here to look after them. It is what my mother did, and her mother before her, and so on. But now, the fire shows signs of fading, and the kingdom is beset by hollows. The old women are sisters. I am told there was a fourth. Long ago, fire keepers were commonplace. But now they are lost, scattered to the winds.
So, after being made fun of for a little while by all these old women, we're gonna head back outside into the tutorial area. If you were watching during that cinematic, then you would have seen me go through this hole in the bushes that's just before that bridge. And this, guys, this is the reason we picked a sorcerer, so we could take out this guy. And as soon as you see these big enemies at the start of the game, I'm sure you're all thinking, you know, if I kill that now, I bet I get an awesome item. And you do get a pretty cool item from this guy. He's the only ogre in this level that will give you an item. The item is called the Stone Ring, and what it does is, every time you hit an enemy, it decreases their poise a lot more than if you didn't have the ring on. So basically, you'll break their poise more often when you smash them, and I think that's really good for weapons that attack quickly, although I'm not sure. So now he's gone, we're going to take his item. Further on is some gold pine resin. and then we're going to continue with the actual tutorial, which I won't show much of because it's not that interesting.
You must go on a journey without rest. Well, I suppose if you find yourself at an impasse. But if your will is yet unbroken, then you may return here to start again with a clean slate.
So, the journey begins. Light this bonfire, and off to the right is a wagon. Behind the wagon is a torch, and I think I should mention how the torch mechanic works in this game. Every torch contributes 5 minutes of lit time towards your counter. You can light the torch at the bonfire by toggling with triangle or whatever button that is on Xbox, and you can light the torch. Right now, I'm like, there's so many torches in this tutorial. I'm going to light every single one of them. I am going to see if something happens. And one of our characters is currently doing that. Our other character is going to check out this coffin. So we'll go back to the character who's lighting the torches. But for now, let's see what this coffin is. It's surrounded by these ogres. Surely if you get in, something happens, right? I just want you guys, if you haven't played this game yet, if you haven't got in the coffin, try tell me what you notice changes. Something changes, but I'm not going to tell you. First time I found this coffin, it was like, in previous versions of the game, it actually floated away, and you're just like, okay, am I going to another area? But then no, you appear in the same area, and as soon as you get out, you're attacked by these two guys immediately. You don't get a chance to think, and I think that was intentional. They know you couldn't kill them, so they wanted you to run to it and get in and try to figure out what's changed. It took me I got halfway through my game before I realized what changed, and I want to know if you guys figured it out. Go through the tutorial and you find a nest, and I think you know what's coming. Drop the smooth, silky stone we found earlier in the level, or drop the petrified something that you started with, and you'll get a reward.
Yeah, silky smooth.
So Snuggly the Crow is back, and it looks like she has a friend. Anyway, back to our cleric who is currently lighting torches. You get to the end and nothing happens. Don't light the torches. It's a waste of time. So let's finish this tutorial with our main character. Honestly, I didn't need to light a torch for this little cave section, but, darkness on YouTube isn't a great thing, and any excuse to use a torch, I just jump at in this game. I love the way the shadows look and the way the lighting looks. It's just incredible, especially at the start of the game, actually. So, you come out into Majula. Your eyes take a second to adjust to the harsh light, and this is the hub area that you're going to be traveling back to. There are a bunch of important NPCs in Majula, and coming back after a boss to spend your souls and rest is a huge theme.
Who are you? Oh, it doesn't matter. Just help me open this door. I packed my tools in here, seeing it was vacant. But now somebody's gone and locked the door.
And that's Lenegrast, the blacksmith who can't fit through the giant open window. We're going to find the key for his house a little bit later in the walkthrough, but for now, we're going to talk to the woman who is probably the most important character in Majula.
Are you the next monarch? Or merely a pawn of fate? Bearer of the curse, I will remain by your side till this frail hope shatters. Take this with you. May it ease your journey. Go on and see the king. He who made Drangleic what it once was. He who peered at the essence of the soul. King Vendrick. Bearer of the curse, seek misery. For misery will lead you to greater, stronger souls. You will never meet the king with a soul so frail and pallid. Seek those whose names are unutterable. The four endowed with immense souls. Their souls will serve as beacons. Once you have found them, return here to me, so that hope will not fade away.
So that hope will not fade away. God, I love that dialogue. I especially love the bit where she talks about finding the king. I really like when games set up the fact that you're going to be this incredible character later on. You start off small, but later in the game you know you're going to take out someone who is a huge problem or someone who is hugely powerful compared to you. So now we're going to adventure through the Forest of the Fallen Giants, and that name and this area is interesting from a lore perspective. Long ago there was a battle, a war with the giants, and whenever a giant fell in battle, a tree would grow from its point of death. And that's essentially what this entire forest is made of, so you can get some sort of idea of the scale of the battle that must have taken place. And when I played through this for the first time, and even now, I thought, goddamn, that's great game design. You come up from the ladder and you see this vista, and immediately there's so much to take in. There's 4 enemies wandering around that you're going to have to take out. There's this archer up the top shooting at you, and there's this little crestfallen knight sitting at the tree. You don't know, is he hostile? Is he going to attack me? Soon enough you figure out, no, he's not going to attack you. In previous versions of the game though, he used to be very aggressive. In previous versions of the game you actually had to skirt around the outside of the arena in case you got too close to him, because if you got too close he would attack you. But in this version of the game, we're going to run up this side passage and we're going to take out the archer, and then we're going to fight the Hired Knight. And the Hired Knight drops a really, really good straight sword. It's imbued with lightning, does a good amount of damage, has an alright moveset. Personally, I like a longsword that we're going to find in a few minutes a little bit better, so killing him is fairly optional, but, you know, if you feel like fighting him, go for it. He's definitely not an easy fight, and we'll go through the fight a little bit in detail in about a minute, but right now, let's take out this archer. Just take him out. I'm good at this game, I promise. See? I almost fell off, but I didn't. I'm so good. So this character isn't going to kill the Hired Knight, we're going to actually get a Fire Longsword later in the level, so this character's going to make this jump, get this item, and I'll show you how to kill the Hired Knight. My hot tips for this guy revolve around one thing: learn his moveset. As soon as he finishes his moves, attack him once and you'll just have enough time to roll away before his next one connects with you. He does have a few moves that will surprise you, but those are surprises, and this is Dark Souls, and I'm not going to spoil them for you. What is this, a walkthrough? So let's grab his sword and continue with the walkthrough. So we continue along up these stairs and we take out a group of enemies, and a common trend I've found in Dark Souls 2 is to take out melee enemies while having a ranged enemy attacking you in some way, and make sure you be careful of those firebombs, they do a fair bit of damage. So after this, we're going to climb this ladder, we're going to go inside, and we're going to light a bonfire, finally. One thing to mention about lighting bonfires this time around is that the act of lighting a bonfire triggers it as a checkpoint, which means you no longer have to rest there and respawn enemies to trigger it as a checkpoint. This is Melentia. She sells a bunch of great consumable items: 5 human effigies, 10 radiant life gems, throwing knives, which are wonderful this time around, and most importantly, the blacksmith's key, which you're going to need. But once we've got the blacksmith unlocked, we need something to upgrade. So we're going to get what is probably my favorite starting weapon, the Fire Longsword, and it's in an interesting location. So once you've dropped down that ledge, it's a matter of doing some minor platforming to make it down to the bottom, while taking out these hollow soldiers on the way. Interesting thing about these hollow soldiers, they were once part of the war against the giants, but they've all hollowed now. You can just see that they're destined to wander around here aimlessly until they see someone's souls to take. So this is a cave that turns away a lot of new players. At this point you might have been playing for a while, or you don't exactly feel like dying, and when you see this cave full of fire, you're like, will that burn me when I go in? And then you go in a bit further and there's this thing shooting fireballs at you and you're like, I'm not going in there. But it rewards the courageous player. It rewards the person who's looking to take risks. Grab this tentatively and run back, and you might be able to spy this door to the left. Open it quickly, in between bursts, maybe better than I did, and you might be lucky enough to roll inside. This is the Fire Longsword, and it's probably my favorite weapon so far. If you don't feel like using the Fire Longsword for whatever reason, there are a lot of options you can actually get from the blacksmith, so head back to Majula, rest, spend your souls, and then we'll head deeper into this castle. We've seen some ambushes in previous levels, but it's nothing compared to what you're gonna see here. I think one good rule of thumb for this level is, if an enemy looks dead, it's not dead, and it's going to try and kill you later in the level, so make sure you get the first hit in, like I am. Eventually, we're going to make it to a fog gate, and this is where you make a choice, because this is where the path branches. Over to the right, we see this decrepit housing further down, lower by the wall. On the wall, on the ramparts, we see a bunch of enemies that are actually quite tricky to take out, especially as you get further on. You'll see what I mean. Up that ladder is death. Let's not go there right now. Right now, we're going to see these barrels at the far end near a wall. If you see black barrels near a wall, I think you know what to do to them. I'm going to show you what to do to them. This is what you do to them. After you've been blown up by 10 barrels of gunpowder, just walk it off, go through this hole in the wall you created, and you'll realize you created a shortcut. At this point in the game, if you climb this ladder, I hope you've spent all your souls, because you're most likely going to die. Up this ladder is one of the only bosses that comes to you, and he only comes to you once, so you get one chance to take him out here. If you don't take him out here, you can fight him later in the level in a designated area. If you fight him early, do you get something special for it? Well, let's see. This is the Pursuer. The Pursuer, who hunts down the bearer of the sign, will not rest until his target is slain. The Pursuer hunts down those branded by the curse, as if each undead soul that he claims will atone one of his sins. I love the concept of this boss, that feeling you get when you see him fly towards you on that eagle, and realizing, I'm halfway through the level and I have to fight a boss now? Then if you have the courage to fight him, you can get your ass kicked, or you can jump off the ledge and run away completely. There are two options open to you. I decided to take him on, and needless to say, I regretted it. I regretted it a lot. But my curiosity had to be satisfied, so I came back on another character. I have 30 soul arrows, and I know his moveset, so I'm going to try and take him on. The one thing about this boss that makes him easy is that he has a very limited moveset, and he tells his moves really obviously. That stab attack will curse you if you get too close, but like I said, you can see it coming a mile away. And this is the attack, right there. That's the one you hit him after. He'll raise his shield, and he'll dash at you just like that. Roll out of the way, it's your only option, and then counterattack once. You might be able to get 2 hits in, but once to be safe. I only had 30 soul arrow and a dagger for this fight, and luckily, you just have enough soul arrow to take him out. Don't waste any on the way here. Use 30, and with a sorcerer, you'll be able to take him out. For killing the Pursuer, we get a ring of blades, which increases physical damage, and we get his souls. If you don't kill him here, you have the chance of killing him later. But do you get anything extra for killing him early? No, unfortunately, you don't. Back on our main character, we decide to go a different way. This is the route we travelled up earlier, and on the right you see all the decrepit housing. We're going to make this jump, we're going to take out some enemies here, and we're eventually going to make it to this cave. Once you get in, just keep running straight through, nothing's going to kill you. Up this hill, we'll meet Kale, who's a great example of why talking to NPCs will give you some great rewards. He's also one of those few characters who's nice to you, even though his mind has been decayed by the curse.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just daydreaming, I think. My name is Kale. I'm a traveler, like yourself. I'm navigating the continent to create a map. Have you seen Majula? Oh, there's a rather spacious mansion there. I made it my temporary home. Inside the mansion, I found a strange map, like none I'd ever seen. I believe that it's a map of Drang Lake. Now I'm traveling the land to prove it. Yes, that's it. That's why I came to the kingdom. Wait. No, that wasn't it. Then what? I don't seem to recall.
In the next episode, we travel to this crumbling city filled with these ancient giants. This one, the second one you fight, gave me sublime bone dust, which you can burn in the Majula bonfire to make your Estus flasks stronger. I recommend going here early. Another great item is available further on, which stops you from losing so much health once you're hollowed. This is found just before the Cathedral of Blue, the drawbridge of which can be lowered if you take out the giants. And once we go up there, we'll find an old friend waiting inside. Click the bonfire to figure out what kindling the channel will do. This is a campaign I'm going to launch soon, and it's going to bring some amazing results. I actually can't wait to read the comments about Dark Souls 2, so if you have an experience that you want to share, or something you've found, or something that you just want to talk about, then please post below. Preferably keep it about what we discussed in this episode to avoid spoilers for other people, but generally I think you guys expect spoilers at this point, so yeah, let me know. I'll catch you guys next time. So there are some new mechanics in Dark Souls 2 that I feel like you guys need to know about. These are things that aren't explained in-game, and whether you're new to the Souls series or not,